Look up in the sky. It's the superheroes of travel. Ricky Tyus and Tasha Williams on It's Your Time to Travel. Listeners, you can join the conversation at 877-932-9766 or watch us live on YouTube /Talktainment/ It's Your Time to Travel. First half of the show, we had Earl Chambers talking about everything in Jamaica. He gave some very good points about Jamaica and things to do and places to go. And his comment was Jamaica the way it should be heard. And he talked about zip lining and bobsledding and Dunn River Falls. He talked about Blue Mountain coffee. He says there's direct flights on Delta to Kingston. Kingston is the big area to do a lot of things in now. Places to visit. You got the hidden waterfalls. You got all the history in Kingston. And then he also talked about Jamaica South Cove and the festival that they have there, the Little Orchard Seafood Festival. He talked about Club Mo Bay when you come into Montego Bay. To make sure that whoever books your travel to Jamaica, that they book you into Club Mo Bay. And if you're going into Kingston, the Kingston Club there. So for the second half of the show, we're going to talk about cruising. But first, I have a press release ready to give you next level info and service. Ricky Tyus of Tyus Tours and Travel attends Sandals Resorts Luxury Included workshop. It was in Columbus, Ohio on June 27th. Certified sandal specialist Ricky Tyus of Tyus Tours and Travel has successfully completed Always Next Level, the latest Sandals Resort Travel Agent workshop, and is now fully prepared to share with travelers the most exciting reasons to visit Caribbean's leading luxury included resort right now. According to Tyus, the immense workshop covered all the new and exciting things going on across Sandals Resorts International family of brands that includes adult, couples only Sandals Resort, family friendly beaches resort, island roots Caribbean adventures for fun, and is a critical opportunity to gain firsthand knowledge of these distinct brands from the opening of Sandals Royal Barbados, Sandals' second luxury resort here, and the launch of Isle to Isle, a new destination wedding program to beaches, resorts, groundbreaking certified all tourism centers. Travelers can be confident that my counsel is informed and expert. Speaking of Isle to Isle, Isle to Isle is a virtual event that they have, and the first one coming up in July is this Saturday. Okay, and if you contact me at travel@tyustours.com, I can send you the link that you can actually be part of the webinar for the Isle to Isle. It's a webinar, and they talk about weddings, they talk about honeymoons, and they talk about all the things to do there. So the first one is coming up this next Saturday, July 14th. Tyus is a certified sandal specialist, part of an elite group of travel agents recognized by the travel industry as experts in the world's only luxury included resorts. Always Next Level fulfills the crucial educational requirements for travel agents pursuing their certified sandal specialist destination. And we applaud Tyus on this tremendous accomplishment. CSS agents are uniquely qualified to help travelers select their best Caribbean vacation, and it is a sincere pleasure to recognize Tyus Tours and Travel for the dedication for serving their clients so well, says Gary Sandler, Senior Vice President of Sales for North America at Unique Vacation, a affiliate of the worldwide representatives for Sandals Resort and Beaches Resort. So that's just a update on a credential that I have established. But what we're going to get into, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to talk about cruising and people that have fallen off of cruise ships. Did you know, according to a set of data compiled by Cruise Junkie, 313 unlucky people have fallen overboard since 2000, some whom were never seen again, and the highest number of reported incidents happened in 2015 when a total of 27 passengers toppled over the barrier into the ocean. So again, since 2000, there's been 313 people that have fallen overboard on cruise ships, and some of them were never seen before. But I have 13 people that have fallen off a cruise ship. Actually, there's 14 people that have fallen off a cruise ship, and they were found again. Pretty amazing that they were found again. And the first one I have is this just in. It's called a cruise ship rescue story. This just happened on Saturday, June 30th of 2018. A cruise ship worker went overboard and was rescued 22 hours after going overboard. A cruise ship worker who went overboard and apparently treaded water for some 22 hours was in stable condition on Monday, a day after being rescued by a crew from another passing cruise ship. Pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. According to the U.S. Coast Guard, a 33-year-old crew member went overboard around 3:20 p.m. on Saturday from the Norwegian Getaway, some 28 miles northwest of Pinar del Rio, Cuba. The agency sent multiple aircraft and a cutter to search for the crew member, but a cabin steward from the Carnival Glory spotted the crew member in the water around 1:20 p.m. Sunday. So they suspected he fell overboard 3:20 p.m. on Saturday, and he was found in the water around 1:20 p.m. on Sunday. That's almost 22 hours that he tread water. A Carnival Sports spokeswoman stated the man did not have any safety device on when he was picked up by the Carnival Glory, and they could only surmise that he was likely treading water the entire time. And here's the amazing part. The Getaway returned to Miami from an 8-day cruise on Sunday, and the Carnival Glory continued on to Cozumel in the midst of a 7-day cruise. So this just happened Saturday, June the 30th. This guy fell off the Norwegian Getaway and treaded water for 22 hours and was picked up by a Carnival cruise ship. Pretty amazing. But I also have, if you see there, that guy just had fallen off a cruise ship. He just fell off a cruise ship, and that actually happened. He's holding on right now, and he's going to lose his grip and actually fall off the cruise ship. And that person was never found. So that's pretty unfortunate that he fell off the cruise ship. But cruises are cool because on most ships you can buy a drink pass and booze all you want. You can head to a fancy dinner or pig out at a buffet, catch a Broadway-style show, watch a movie on the big screen, and go to the spa. Some lines even have planetariums, live concerts, mini golf, on-deck surfing, and water slides. While many find cruise ships relaxing and virtually stress-free, bad things can happen and have happened at sea. So these numbers are extremely small considering 20 million people go on cruising each year, but it doesn't hurt to be extra careful about the lengths you go to get a selfie, where you go to the bathroom, and how eager you are to reenact scenes from Titanic. So if I have enough time, I'm not sure I'm going to have time to cover all of these, but the first one is Lost at Sea, and this happened in August of 2016. A woman from Shanghai was traveling from Japan to China with her parents on Royal Caribbean when she took off for a stroll around the ship and never returned. More than 100 volunteers searched the vessel to no avail. Everyone assumed she was dead. 2 days later, the 32-year-old woman was spotted floating in the East China Sea, off the coast of the East China Sea. The woman, identified only as Fan, fell overboard after peering over the edge to look at the water. She managed to stay afloat for 38 hours, even after falling asleep. The fisherman who found her said she was in stable condition and only had minor injuries to her arms from jellyfish stings. Lost at sea for 38 hours. This particular one was lost at sea for 38 hours and was found by a fisherman. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. This one is called A Photo Op Flop. On the evening of March 6, 2018, that happened this year, a teen on the deck of the Norwegian Epic hopped atop the railing to snap a selfie. After losing her balance, she fell overboard into the ocean off the coast of the Bahamas. Multiple passersby heard the unidentified person crying out for help. And one passenger ran back to her room to pray for the woman's safety. Although it was dark out and the waters were rough, she was saved by a search and rescue crew aboard the ship, which promptly docked at Port Canaveral in Florida so she could receive medical attention on shore. So here's a young lady that wanted to do a selfie and fell off the cruise ship, and she was saved by the rescue crew aboard the ship and was taken back to Port Canaveral in Florida. So you have to be careful on what you're doing on these cruises. The next one is a couple's quarrel. On September 2nd, 2009, at 11:15 p.m., a couple started arguing on the balcony of their Carnival Sensation stateroom. The unidentified 34-year-old man threatened to jump, and the woman called his bluff by replying, "Go ahead." Apparently not wanting to be called a liar by his wife, the unidentified male leaped into the water. He leaped into the water from the 6th-deck suite. Numerous witnesses heard the event transpire and immediately called for help, and they tossed life preservers to the man. 90 minutes later, he was plucked from the waters about 28 miles east of Port Lucent, Florida, by the crew of another cruise ship. This one was the Disney Wonder, which also happened to be in the area at the time. And two things saved his life. He knew how to swim and hold on to hope, and he was wearing a white t-shirt beneath a full moon, which made it easier for rescuers to see him. Although the man apparently suffered from severe depression, he was beaming a big smile all over his face after the rescue. The ship's captain said, "I think he obviously regrets what had happened." Now, this man had a fight with his wife, and on a dare decided to jump off a cruise ship, and he was saved. How lucky was he? The next one is about a young guy. This guy's name is Alex, and just 3 hours after the Norwegian Spirit set sail from New Orleans on June 12, 2011, a man went overboard into the water of the mighty Mississippi. And the mighty Mississippi is mighty. I mean, every time I see the Mississippi, I'm amazed how strong that river is. Luckily for him, 16-year-old Alex saw the whole thing through a life ring and instructed his 21-year-old cousin to alert the crew. A rescue boat soon pulled the man to safety, and he was treated for minor injuries. A month later, the Norwegian in the port of New Orleans recognized Alex's efforts, and they had a ceremony above the spirit for him. So there's another guy that fell off a cruise ship and was rescued. The next one is Frank Jade catches a wave. When Frank Jade fell off the deck of a Royal Caribbean Oasis of the Sea on January 8th, 2015, man, you know how big that ship is? The Oasis of the Sea is a huge ship. Nobody noticed that one of the ship's 6,360 passengers had gone missing. 6,000 passengers. How can you miss one? Things were looking grim for the 22-year-old American tourist, who could only watch helplessly as the ship sailed away, because no one knew that he had fallen overboard. A miracle happened. Jade was later spotted by passengers sailing the same route on the Disney Magic cruise ship, and they threw him several buoys, and the vessel lowered its rescue boat and picked Jade up, treated him and docked him at Punta La Costa, Mexico, so he could receive additional medical care. Jade said a wave had knocked him overboard about 8 miles off the coast of Cozumel. Royal Caribbean was criticized for not noticing the missing man and not complying with the 2010 Cruise Vessel Safety and Security Act, which requires the installation of an automatic man overboard system. So now most of the cruise ships have that system in place. Here's another one. This is called the King of Idiots. In 2007, a pair of 20-year-olds were on spring break and decided to reenact the King of the World scene from the Titanic. And as you can probably guess, they plunged into the water surrounding the Grand Princess cruise ship. Although the two bobbled around in the Gulf of Mexico for 4 hours, they luckily didn't continue the film tribute, with one of them freezing to death in the water, and the Coast Guard eventually rescued the couple. Curiously, the man was found completely naked, but he claims he took his clothes off after falling into the water to help him swim. Perhaps they were actually reenacting a different iconic scene from Titanic, "Rescue Me Like One of the French Girls." King of the Idiots, try and reenact the Titanic. And then the other one is Larry Miller loses his footing. In the early hours of June 15th, 2009, a pilot boat rescued 46-year-old Larry Miller, who had been clinging to a water marker about 1 mile southeast of Mullet Key near Fort D. Senado Park in Florida. The man had been there for almost 3 hours, had fallen after he climbed over a railing of the Carnival Inspiration, which failed to notice that he failed or was missing, to get a better view. Iconically, the view Miller was seeking was of another passing pilot boat. So here's a man, again, that just went a little bit too far and fell off a Carnival cruise ship. And there's another one in here called Mutiny. And this person has been on countless cruise ships. She's a wife of a cruise captain and has seen everything. In one of her articles, she describes the tale of a man overboard situation that didn't make the major media. In 1992, aboard the legendary Britannique, the captain noticed the 18-year-old passenger acting strangely and began talking to him. When it was clear the young man wasn't thinking straight, the captain grabbed him, but the passenger pulled away, ran out the door, and left over the rail. So let me repeat that. The captain grabbed him, but the passenger pulled away, ran out the door, and jumped over the rail. Lifeboats and a nearby Norwegian ship eventually found the missing man thanks to a calm sea, clear skies, and a full moon, and some skillful searching. It turns out the man had consumed both drugs and alcohol and wrongfully believed the ship was in the midst of a mutiny. Man, it's pretty amazing. So you go on the cruise, you drink a lot of alcohol, you take a lot of drugs, and now you're dazed, and you think the ship is under mutiny, and you jump overboard. And right now, this is showing a rescue at sea, where someone had falling into the sea. And so, just so you know, if you fall off a cruise ship, you can survive. It is possible. It is possible to survive. And this is showing you a rescue mission of where someone had fallen into the ocean, and it's being picked up by a rescue boat. So it is possible, if you fall off a cruise ship, that you can survive. So I have another one. This one happened in December of 2009, and this was on the Royal Caribbean Mystica of the Sea. It was making a short journey from Miami to Key West, and a crew member plunged overboard. The ship's captain immediately sent out a distress call to the Coast Guard, who found and rescued the man in the Biscay Bay waters about 2 hours later. He was about 5 miles off the coast of Cutler Bay and was in good condition. The petty officer said, witnesses said the 31-year-old purposely jumped from the ship, but these claims were not confirmed. And then one more maybe. This is aboard the Carnival Destiny, and this happened in October 2012. A 31-year-old fell 100 feet into the ocean, hitting a life raft on the way down. And this person says that she remembers leaning over the balcony to look at the side of the ship, and the next thing she knew, she was in the water. And what this quote doesn't reflect is the fact that she was positively plastered at the time of the incident. She was thankfully rescued, but we're not sure she saw it that way. She sued Carnival for over-serving her and for not rescuing her quickly enough. And compared to other passengers' tales, the 90 minutes that she spent in the water was actually relatively short. So this lady was rescued by Carnival, and she sued them for not finding her fast enough and for serving her too many drinks. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. I think I have time for one more. This one is happened on February 23rd, 2005. Happened at 6:10 a.m. A man was spotted by cruise ship workers as he fell from the deck of the Crystal Harmony. A few of our galley crew saw a body fall past them into the water, and they immediately advised the bridge and threw a life ring. They also tossed down a smoke canister to help locate the middle-aged man in the Mexican waters, about 100 miles south of Ensenada. The giant 50,000-ton vessel turned around, lowered its tidy tender boat, and retrieved a man who was treated for hypothermia. The rescue took 30 minutes, and numerous veteran passengers realized the problem when the captain declared Code Oscar over the ship's speaker. He later announced the successful rescue to the Harmony's 900 passengers. The unidentified man was traveling alone and was turned over to police in San Diego, who questioned and released him without an arrest. And the fall was apparently an accident. So, just so you know that if you fall off a cruise ship, you can be rescued. And there's a lot of examples that we gave you where people have fallen off cruise ships and they were rescued. So today's show, the first half, had Earl Chambers, the business development manager from the Jamaican Tourist Board. He was on the air, and he talked about everything in Jamaica. He talked about Negril. And then he went to the other end and talked about Kingston and all the history in Kingston and places to eat in Kingston. Then he went to South Coast Jamaica, and he talked about the festivals in Jamaica. And what I'll do for 2019 is I'll get a list of all the festivals going on in Jamaica in case you're interested. And the one festival that he talked about, I am familiar with. It's the Reggae Sunfest Festival. It's always the third week of July. Look up in the sky. It's the Superheroes of Travel. It's Ricky Tyus and Tashi Williams, able to take you around the world by air, land, and sea, even by flying saucer. It's your time to travel on TalkTainmentRadio.com.